everyone, I'm Charm and I'm an adult who's constantly trying to find ways to be more productive. Join me in the series where I try out habits in the hopes of becoming a better adult. For this Better Adult episode, I try to hone a skill that I never really got to learn growing up, and that's touch typing or typing without looking at the keyboard. This seems very trivial and not really an adulting skill that everyone needs, and that can be true. I did, after all, survive 27 years without learning it, so why bother do it now? Well, because of this YouTube channel, I've been typing a lot more lately, writing outlines or scripts, responding to emails or comments, and I'm just at my desk a whole lot more lately, and that's the reason why I upgraded my desk setup as you saw in my previous video. And if we're talking about aiming to be more productive, touch typing seems to be up there with the basics or foundational skills that you need to have. So in this video, I try to improve my touch typing speed every day for a month. So some backstory or context why I never got good at typing. First, I never really worked a desk job, and I took up architecture in college, which means we only needed a few shortcut commands on the keyboard and the rest was really mouse work. Next, my work really revolves around spreadsheets and numbers and short emails, so I never found the need to type. And lastly, I work a lot on my phone. Before I had this MacBook, I was just on my phone and my iPad, and I really just have to communicate and chat to people about work. Now that I have my YouTube channel, I really found the need to improve my touch typing because I want to be more efficient. So now I'm about to film day 1 of the typing challenge, and now I'm going to test out my initial touch typing word per minute in monkeytype.com. I did an initial test last July 2, 2021, and I also posted some IG stories about my typing speed, and a lot of you didn't believe that I was typing at around 14 to 16 words per minute. And when I did the test last July 2, I already had a little bit of exercise and I practiced a little bit already, and my best was at 20 words per minute. So for my typing exercises, I was going to do 15 minutes of typing exercise per day for 30 days. And some days I allotted more time. One time I even did more than 2 hours as I streamed it live on TikTok. Follow me there as well for bite-sized content, by the way. But the bare minimum would be 15 minutes of exercise. But sometimes, I have to be honest, I really get competitive or addicted to improving my typing skills. So most of the time, I really did more than 15 minutes. I did a total of around 7.5 hours on KBR, so let me run you through the websites that I use. I mainly use kbr.com to familiarize and master each letter, and that's what I do mainly for around 15 minutes a day. The problem with this is there's no backspace and it uses made-up words. So this does help you when you're typing in other languages, but it also hinders you from getting used to more common words. So what I do to test out my typing speed, I use the website called monkeytype.com. I do one test before and after I do the 15 minutes of KBR, and they use common words. It mimics real typing. It's very similar to another website that a lot of people suggest, which is 10fastfingers.com. But I don't really like this particular website because where you type is not necessarily where the words are appearing. So if you mimic real typing, you're assuming that the words or the thoughts come from your mind, right? And not necessarily copying something from a screen. And 10 fast fingers with the word and the typing slot a little bit further from each other, unlike the monkey type where it's on top of each other. It really makes it harder for me, so I don't use it as much. But I mean, if I get to improve on 10fastfingers.com, that's a huge milestone as well. But I mainly use monkey type and kbr.com. So next, let's talk about proper finger placement. Finger placement was something that I was already familiar with but didn't really follow. I studied this since elementary and I wasn't typing with just 2 fingers, but my fingers were usually up in the air so that I could see all the letters before I pressed them. Not the most efficient way to type, but I watched a couple of classes about touch typing on Skillshare and they helped me immensely. Which, speaking of, if you're not familiar already, Skillshare is an online community where we can invest in ourselves to gain more knowledge and skills like touch typing. But not just that, they offer thousands of amazing classes for creative and curious people on topics including marketing, design, photography, content creation, freelancing, and so much more. Classes like the Ultimate Self-Care Playbook, Discover and Nurture Your Centered Self with Jonathan Van Ness from the Fab Five, which I definitely need, or YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with Marques Brownlee from MKBHD. I love his channel and I've been learning a lot from him since I've been putting out more B-roll heavy content and I really want to constantly improve my YouTube game. Skillshare is giving away 1 month trial of premium membership to the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description so you can explore your creativity and invest in yourself. Thank you Skillshare for always supporting this channel. Now back to the video. Okay, now let's talk about keyboard and some keyboard shortcuts. Another thing I learned from a Skillshare class by Ali Abdal is to choose the right keyboard and learn to master keyboard shortcuts and not use the mouse as much as possible. For the first 2 weeks, I only used my non-mechanical keyboard, the Logitech K375S. But after I got my new laptop, I experimented with the Magic Keyboard that came with my MacBook Air and even with a mechanical keyboard, Jet's Keychron K6. And I had a little bit of a different experience with all of them, but I found that I really typed fastest in the Apple Magic Keyboard, and that's why I've been thinking of getting one. But you guys suggested in my previous video a low profile keycap on a mechanical keyboard, so we'll see, but I'll definitely try that out. So a few keyboard shortcuts that I've been learning and I will try to master is deleting. So when you delete just one character, you just press delete, right? Or backspace for Windows. But if you want to delete one word for Mac, it's option plus delete, and if you want to delete the entire line, it's command delete. And this is gonna make it easier for you to increase your typing speed and efficiency, because pressing delete one character at a time can really be time consuming, or picking up the mouse to highlight everything and delete can also be time consuming, right? So this is really going to help me and I'm going to keep on trying to master them. Next is accuracy and speed. Now, a lot of people and a lot of videos taught me to focus on accuracy instead of speed, and keybr.com has really been helpful for this, and I really found that I really struggled with IUOP, which is the 4 characters on top of my right home keys, and also the less used characters like Q, Z, X, B, and also I don't understand why, but I really have a hard time with the letters R and T. I always get them mixed up. But yeah, those are the letters that I struggled with. I don't know if other people are feeling this way. Maybe it's just a beginner's thing, but yeah, I'll try to improve them. So sometimes when you focus on speed, you mess things up more. So that's why I've been trying to get my accuracy up to around 90 to 100% so that it would be more efficient for me to type. Next is the ergonomics. In the middle of the challenge, I changed my entire desk setup. I did a video on that, so I will link it above, but my screen and keyboard were further away from each other than my iPad/laptop setup. So it's more reason for me to improve my touch typing skills so that I don't have to strain my neck and keep looking up and down from the keyboard to the monitor. Your arm should ideally be around 90 degrees, so an armrest would help. Your legs should be planted on the ground or 90 degrees as well, or in my case, it's on top of a footrest. And your eyes should look straight into your monitor. That's why laptops are not necessarily very ergonomic, although they can be very convenient, but not necessarily for the long term, because you have to keep on looking down and it will strain your neck or your back. So when I changed the setup of my desk, I definitely noticed an improvement in my typing. I don't know if it's just because I've been practicing for more than 3 weeks, but it could also be that I have a bigger monitor, or even if I don't use my monitor and use my MacBook. Again, I've been really liking the Apple Magic Keyboard, so maybe that's also it. But yeah, it definitely improved because in my final test on July 31, 2021, that's 30 days after I started my touch typing practice, I got to a high of around 50 words per minute. Now, that's not necessarily the 100 words per minute that I aimed for, but that was also really wishful thinking to get there in 30 days with just 15 minutes of practice a day. So I'm really proud of myself. 50 is my new benchmark. Okay, so it's been around 2 weeks now since I finished the 30-day challenge. So what have I learned? What are my thoughts? And what are my key takeaways? Actually, there's just one major thing. 30 days is not enough. Consistency is key, and when it comes to developing a skill like this that I'm going to be using probably for the rest of my life, it should be done every day. I should try and practice it every day. Yes, I did improve 150% from 20 to 50 words per minute, but I don't want to stop there. I want to continue getting better at it and continue practicing it and applying it to my day-to-day life. I actually still want to get to around 80 to 100 words per minute over time, which hopefully we'll get there. And lastly, it's really about building muscle memory, not just where the letters are, but also with the words itself, especially with the most common English words. I do type in Bisaya and Tagalog when I chat with people online, but I think that's where the muscle memory for the letters come in and not just for the words itself. So to be fully transparent, I haven't been practicing that much the past 2 weeks since the challenge ended. Maybe I just practiced twice or thrice, but a lot has been happening. I just came back from a vacation and I also got engaged. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, but if you haven't already, please follow me there so that you get the juiciest, well, they're not really juicy, but you get first dibs on the news and about the videos and maybe about my personal life sometimes. But yeah, go ahead and follow me on Ready2Adult Ph. Okay, so how do I plan to apply this to my day-to-day? In my emails, writing scripts and outlines, responding to comments or chatting with people, I'm really going to try to touch type. I find myself that I still sometimes look at my keyboard out of habit, even though I know that I already kind of know where the letters are. I just have to stick to it and really practice it in my day-to-day. I also try to find the keyboard shortcuts for everything now. I'm quite new to the Mac OS, so it's quite a challenge. But what I'm doing right now is I have a sticky note on my desktop and I put all the commands or shortcuts that I would most likely use over and over again and just have it there until I remember or memorize them. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna leave all the websites and resources that I mentioned down below so that you can also test out what your typing speed is. And if you want, you can comment down below your typing speed. And also, if you want to open a GoTrade account, I will put my code here. You can trade in the US stock market for as low as $1. You can start by practicing with $100 or 5,000 pesos. And yeah, if you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up. It really does help out the channel a lot. And also, please subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell. And as always, this has been Charm from Ready2Adult Philippines, and I will see you on my next video. Very consistent at being 20 words per minute. Yeah! It's 20 words per minute. 20! I don't like it.
How about your accuracy? Is it